네, 안녕하세요. 저희 사람사랑유학원 대표 이선호입니다. 예, 이번 시간은 MPW에 대해서 좀 소개하는 시간을 좀 갖도록 하겠습니다. MPW는 사실 제가 오랫동안 경험을 가지고 있거든요. 그래서 MPW는 입학하는데 그렇게 뭐 어렵거나 뭐 그렇지 않는 A레벨 스쿨이에요. 하지만 제 학생들 만족도가 가장 높은 학교 중에 하나였거든요. 왜냐하면 낮은 성적의 레벨의 학생들도 선생님이 케어를 해준다든지 이런 레벨이 굉장히 좀 높아서 사실 왜 딱 갔을 때 그 건물이라든지 그런 걸 보고 딱 실망을 했던 사람들이 대부분이다. 하지만 다녔던 학생들의 만족도는 너무너무 높다. 왜 이게 이제 제 평가고요. 그다음에 학교가 한 반에 8명 정도밖에 되지 않아요. 그래서 선생님하고 끊임없는 대화를 통해서 수업이 진행이 되거든요. 그래서 MPW가 캠브릿지 출신의 3명을 데리고 3명이 그 만든 학교거든요. 1974년에. 그리고 나서 캠브리지 스타일로 가르치는 걸로 유명하거든요. 하지만 톱 학생들을 데려다가 톱 학교 보내는 것보다도 낮은 레벨의 학생이라도 톱 레벨에 가는 걸로 또 유명한 그런 학교고요. 그래서 그 얘기를 좀 들어볼게요. Okay, Andy, so you are ready?
Hey, thank you. Well, listen,
Okay,
hello,
good
South
time
Korea.
now.
Thank you, Suno. Thank you, Sue, for this. My name is Andy, and I am the Asia Pacific Director for a group of schools in the UK called MPW. And I'm here today just to talk about what we can offer to students. This year is our 50th birthday, which is why there's a big 50 on this PowerPoint slide. And so let's get on with this. Okay, so we have 3 campuses in the UK. We have a campus in Cambridge, we've got a campus in London, and we also have a campus in Birmingham. For those of you not too familiar with the UK, Birmingham is the number 2 city in the UK. So of course, London is number 1, it's the capital, and Birmingham is actually the number 2 city. And we are a high school, and so we offer high school programs, things like GCSEs, A-levels, and foundation. I will go into more detail about this later. Okay, so just some key facts about MPW. So MPW was founded back in 1973 by 3 Cambridge University graduates. And what happened is that when they were looking to set up a school, they noticed back then that all the schools were quite traditional in their approach to teaching, in that a teacher will just stand at the front of class talking, and students would sit there quietly just taking notes. They wanted to start a school where the teaching style was more like the teaching style that they experienced at Cambridge University. In other words, small class sizes with a lot of discussion during the classes. And so they started up MPW. And so MPW offers something a bit different to traditional boarding schools or the very commercial international schools. And we have high school programs like I mentioned before. Okay, so this is our London school. Okay, this is actually the outside of our London school. MPW London. So this is actually our biggest campus, right? And so we offer quite a lot of different qualifications and courses. We have things like A-levels, GCSEs. We also have the UAL, University of the Arts London Art Foundation in our London campus. We've got something called NC UK Foundation. This is like a very good foundation. It's got a lot of recognition by various universities, but it's also quite a challenging foundation because the content is quite similar to A-levels, but it can lead on to things like medicine, for example. We've got the MPW Foundation, and this is suitable for students who are interested in studying something related to business, finance, economics, but they don't like maths very much, right? Because maths is important to study these programs at university. And so if you don't really like maths, you're not very strong at maths, but you still want to study business, finance, economics at uni, then the MPW Foundation is a very, very good foundation for this. We've got a 1-year art portfolio preparation program. That's kind of like an art pre-foundation program. We've got pre-program, which is kind of like pre-sessional English, Easter revision courses. Okay, so we are located in a part of London called South Kensington. This is Zone 1, and there are around maybe 600 students in our MPW London campus. The location is fantastic. It's located where all of the museums and art galleries are. It's very close to Imperial College. Very, very nice, very safe. It's certainly not cheap, though, to live there, right? Because this is central London, zone 1. Okay, so this is actually our new accommodation. And so we've got different types of accommodation, but this particular accommodation is specifically for younger students. It's for students age 14 to 15. And it's actually located next to the Natural History Museum. Okay, so if you've ever been to London as a tourist, hopefully you will have visited the Natural History Museum. That's where we are. And it's only 2 minutes walk away from the school, right? So if you're a young kid, you will live in accommodation very, very close to the school. Inside the campus, it's a school, right? And so it's got things like, libraries and study rooms. Of course, it's got science labs. If you're interested in studying art and design at university, our London campus is the right campus, right? Because it's got the biggest art department by some way. It's got the most facilities. And it's also London, which has the link with University of the Arts London. We work very, very closely with UAL. This is actually a new art studio specifically for Art Foundation students. Okay, so this is the entrance to our Cambridge school, MPW Cambridge. Okay, so it's located in the city centre of Cambridge, okay, basically next to something called the Botanic Gardens, right? And so it's quite a nice location. It's not as big as MPW London, and the courses that are on offer in our Cambridge campus would include A-levels, of course, GCSEs. We've got the NC UK Foundation, and this also includes a computing science pathway, right? And so any students interested in studying, it could be software engineering, programming, AI, data analysis, big data, anything related to computing, you can study the NC UK Computing Science pathway in our Cambridge campus only. We've got pre-program, which is like English language, Easter revision, summer camps as well in Cambridge. Okay, so there are around 220 students in our Cambridge campus. It's walking distance to the city centre. Cambridge is a good city to start if you're very nervous about going to the UK for the first time, because Cambridge is a small city, it's a safe city, there are lots of students in Cambridge, both domestic and international. And so if you're a little bit nervous about going to the UK for the first time, maybe consider Cambridge. And then once you get used to life in the UK, you can then consider a bigger city, right? Inside, again, it's just a school. And so, of course, it's got things like classrooms, of course, science labs. The city itself is beautiful, okay? And so it's very sort of like a Harry Potter style city. Okay, so this is our Birmingham campus. For those of you who are worried about money, because going to the UK and studying in the UK, it's expensive, I get it. Consider Birmingham, because Birmingham is far less expensive in terms of cost of living and tuition compared to places like London or even Cambridge. Okay, so Birmingham. So we're not kind of walking distance to the city centre, not really, but we are located in a very nice part of Birmingham. It's a safe part. It's called Edgbaston, right? And so this is good. In Birmingham, we will offer programs such as A-levels, GCSEs, NC UK Foundation, pre-program, Easter revision. There are no summer camps in Birmingham. Summer camps only happen in London or Cambridge. Okay, so we are located in Edgbaston. There's about 250 students in our Birmingham campus. I mean, to give you an idea of kind of where we are located, so a very, very famous big shopping centre in Birmingham is called the Bullring. And so we're about maybe 2.6 kilometers. I'm not sure what you use in South Korea, actually, if it's kilometers or miles. I've got a feeling it might be kilometers, or 1.6 miles to the Bullring. Inside, it's just a school, right? Okay, and so of course we've got, classrooms. This is not a big surprise. Science labs and so forth. Birmingham, the city itself, is actually quite a nice city. A lot of students aren't familiar with Birmingham. So this is Birmingham right here. A lot of students or people may confuse this with London because it looks a bit like London with the big buildings and the bright lights. But this is actually Birmingham, right? Okay, so there are lots and lots of schools, though, that offer things like A-levels, GCSEs, foundation. What makes us different, okay? Okay, so a few things. I just want to kind of outline what we offer to students. So the first thing would be class size. Okay, so we guarantee maximum class sizes for our students, okay, guaranteed. And so for GCSE and A levels, there is a guaranteed maximum class size of just 9 students per class, right? Average class size is about 6, guaranteed maximum 9. For any foundation program, whether it's UAL Foundation, NCUK Foundation, or MPW Foundation, there's a guaranteed maximum of 14 students per class. Like I mentioned before, the teaching style is based on the same teaching style used at Cambridge University. And by that, I mean, you cannot stay quiet in our lessons. Our teachers won't like it. You have to talk. You have to, right? So you've got to be prepared to answer questions, be prepared to ask questions. Do not be afraid to say to our teachers, hey, teacher, are you sure you're right? Because I think you might be wrong. And these are the reasons I think you're wrong. Our teachers will love that because it shows you're capable of critical thinking, but it also shows that you are confident enough to start an academic debate in English, right? They will love it. Don't do that to a Korean teacher, right, in Korea, because they will punch out your teeth if you did that. But if you did it to our teachers in MPW, that's all right. That's okay. We actually issue you 5 reports a year. Most of the schools will only issue 3. We have regular testing. Internal testing, we call them timed assignments, right? Or timed assessments. Every 1 or 2 weeks, you will do an internal test. Welfare, very important to make sure that you're happy and you're safe and you're coping with everything. Every student has a personal tutor offering one-to-one support. In our Cambridge campus, we actually have a part-time clinical psychologist as well, who is basically like a professional therapist. And so for any students who want to have a confidential chat with a clinical psychologist, a professional therapist, they can actually do so in Cambridge, right? They will meet, students will meet with their personal tutor, for, every single week, one-to-one, but you can meet more often than that. You can meet them whenever you want, right? Because they have what's called an open door policy. Every personal tutor looks after about 12 to 13 students. That's very small, by the way. Nationalities, this is very important. Okay, so a lot of schools in the UK, they may be 100% international, to be honest with you. A lot of schools are. And any school that is 100% international, usually, most of their students will come from mainland China. That's just how it works, right? And so if they're 100% international, it's very, very common for those schools to have maybe 40, 50, 60. I even know a place that has 70% mainland Chinese, right? We're basically the opposite. So we're kind of like a UK school that also accepts international students. And so London and Birmingham, they are both around 70% UK, 30% international. Cambridge is about 50-50, 50% UK, 50% international. At the moment, we don't do that much work in China, to be completely honest with you. And so we have few mainland Chinese. I think London and Cambridge will probably have the most, overall about 8%. So very, very small numbers. Cambridge, Birmingham, sorry, maybe about 5% in Birmingham. Okay, results and destinations. Okay, so this is important. Okay, so every year, around 70% of our students will basically go to either Russell Group or University of London members. And this is where you want to go, essentially. You want to go to either Russell Group or UOL. We can help students with any type of subject that they want to study at university, right? Whether it's business, finance, economics, whether it's international relations, politics, law, engineering, computing. We can help with anything, right? Art and design, whatever. But in the UK, we are famous for what's called the competitive science subjects. And so by that, I mean medicine, dentistry, and vet science. This wasn't on purpose. It just kind of happened. But yeah, this is what we're famous for in the UK. We send a lot. Over the past 5 years, we've sent 172 students to medicine, dentistry, vet science, most of them being medicine. Out of the 172, 124 were medicine. We are very successful with regards to art and design students, right? And so with regards students who are doing either our A-levels or the UAL Art Foundation, we have a 89% successful progression rate to UAL. That's incredible. That's incredibly high, believe me, because UAL is very, very difficult to get into. It's the most famous arts university in the UK, possibly the world, right? And so for the students who actually apply to UAL, we've got an 89% success rate. That's incredible. Most students, about 75%, will achieve their first choice university every single year. And so just to give you an idea, these were the actual placements between 2020 and 2022. We place students in universities all over the world. I mean, mostly in the UK because they're studying in the UK. But some students actually want to go back to their home country to study medicine, right? Some of them do. We had a student from Hong Kong who actually got an offer from Cambridge Medicine, but then he also got an offer from HKU, Hong Kong, which is basically also like a very, very difficult university to get into. He chose Hong Kong U in the end, but he could have gone to Cambridge. He was given an unconditional offer for Cambridge University. But anyway, but yeah, I'm not going to read out this list. You can see this, but you can see we basically send to all the medical schools in terms of destinations. One of the more popular destinations for kids from MPW is KCL, King's College London. Okay, so let's talk a bit about London. So I was trying to get data for 2023 and it's all messy and it's all a bit raw. I need to work through it. So so basically, yeah, so this is why I'm giving slightly old data because I'm just trying to collate, put together the data for 2023, but 21, 22, London, you've got an idea of where, you know, the types of universities that our students went to, including Oxford and Cambridge. Lots of very good universities there. Imperial College, quite a lot to King's College London, KCL. It's just a popular destination for our students. A lot to University of Manchester, Queen Mary, things like this, UCL, some good unis there, right? So for art and design, okay, so this is again going back to 21, 22. You've got an idea of the universities, most of them will end up going to UAL, right? But it's worth remembering, UAL is not the only arts university in the UK, right? There's actually a lot of decent arts universities, but most students will apply to UAL because it's so famous. Cambridge, so these are some of our university destinations for our Cambridge campus, okay? And so you can see some popular universities. And so you've got Oxford, Cambridge, you know, you've got Bristol, KCL, Imperial, Nottingham, Queen Mary, things like this. Our Cambridge campus is particularly good at preparing students to get an interview, right? At Cambridge or Oxford University. So our success rate is 92%. 92% of our students who apply to Cambridge or Oxford will actually get an interview offer, right? And so we're very, very good in terms of helping students prepare their personal statement and so forth, and what they need to say to impress them enough to be invited along for interview. And yeah, so just to let you know, quite a lot of our students will also end up going to what we call the G5, the Big Five. Oxford, Cambridge, LSE, Imperial, and UCL. Okay, again, I can't read all of this out, but this will give you an idea of the courses that our students did from Cambridge campus when they studied at the G5 unis, right? And so they're studying things like, for example, social sciences with quantitative methods. At UCL could be psychology, at Cambridge could be physics with theoretical physics, at Imperial, right? UCL law, it could be English language, a lot of economics at UCL. I'm not going to read them all out. You can read this for yourself, but we've also got things like medicine at Cambridge, for example. And so, yeah, these are the type of courses that they will study. Our students will study. On the G5, Birmingham is that's the one that I really need to work through because there's actually quite a lot of very good data at Birmingham. But one thing that I will say is this. So we offer medical preparation across all three campuses, and we have a lot of medical success. However, I think Birmingham is probably the best in terms of medical preparation because they have so much experience. They've been helping students with personal statements, getting work experience, the UCAT preparation, interview preparation. So Birmingham send a lot to medicine every single year. They're very, very good and extremely experienced and knowledgeable when it comes to medicine. But then, you know, all three of our campuses can help. Yeah, if you're interested about, you know, the general quality of our place, you know, feel free to look us up on the internet because every school has government inspections, right? And we are always awarded either excellent or outstanding following government inspections. A-levels. Okay, so A-levels, we offer, your standard 2-year A-levels, and I would strongly recommend 2-year A-levels if you are interested in applying to medicine, dentistry, vet science, or Oxford or Cambridge. Yeah, I'd just do 2-year A-levels, really. We've got 18-month A-levels starting in January, 1-year A-levels starting in September, but do be careful of 1-year A-levels because they're really designed for retake students, okay? But having said that, it's okay. So actually, I had a Korean student, a mature student. He was a bit older. He'd already done A-levels in the UK, didn't get the grades he wanted, and so he came to MPW London, in fact, to retake his A-levels, got straight A stars, and now he is studying economics at Cambridge University. Yeah, he was a good kid. I liked him. Anyway, NC UK Foundation. So this is a foundation program which is highly respected by universities. It's very, very unusual because most foundations you can only apply to UK universities, right? But with this foundation, NC UK, you can also apply to universities in Australia, quite a lot actually, maybe about 15 in Australia, some universities in the US, Canada, Europe as well. And it's accepted and recognized by almost every university in the UK, apart from the big five, right? Oxford, Cambridge, LSE, UCL, Imperial. You really need A-levels to go to the big five. The reason, though, why it's so respected is because it's a difficult foundation. The content is quite similar to A-levels, right? So you've got to be a good student, right? You've got to be pretty smart and have good English in order to be successful on NC UK Foundation. And we've got different pathways. We've got business, computing science, engineering, humanities, or science. Available at all 3 campuses, as well as an intensive 2-term one in Jan. We've got the UAL Art Foundation, right? I don't want to talk too much about things because I'm very aware of the time limit, but anyone who wants to study art and design at university, basically you have to do a UAL Art Foundation, really, or an art foundation. It's a fun course. You will enjoy this, but you do need to have a pretty good portfolio to study UAL Art Foundation at MPW. Our standards are quite high, which is why our progression is so crazy high. GCSEs and IGCSEs, it's basically the same thing. So this is like a middle school program that you would do prior to your A-levels. Pre-program, this is kind of almost like pre-sessional English, right? Where students will study 60% English and IELTS training, 40% subject tasters. But yeah, it's basically like a pre-sessional English program. So we are a very academic school. We focus a lot on exam preparation, internal testing, things like this. But we try to offer a balance as well to students. And so, you will have access to extracurricular activities. As a matter of fact, it's important that you do this because you have to write about things like this on your personal statement, right? So there's quite a lot of different clubs and activities you can do at MPW. I'll finish off with accommodation because I think accommodation is always quite important. Students are always asking me, oh, what's the accommodation like, Andy? I want to have a look. Okay, so this is our new London accommodation, the ones for younger students, 14 to 15-year-olds. All of our accommodation are single rooms. There are no shared rooms at MPW. A lot of places will have shared rooms. I don't think it's great to have a shared room because you don't know who you're sharing with, right? And also, even if you like the person that you're sharing with, that person will probably snore or, do something to keep you awake at night, just annoy you a little bit. I think it's better to have single rooms when you're studying. All of our rooms are single rooms. So these are the rooms in London for the 14 to 15-year-old kids, all single en suites, right? So you get your own private bathroom, but not every single room that we have at MPW is en suite. Some may have shared bathrooms. This is the canteen where you get your food in MPW London. The feedback has been very good about the food in MPW London from both staff and students. They've both said to me the food is really, really nice, and it does look nice, I must admit. I haven't had the opportunity to try it myself yet, but I look forward to trying it at some point. This is some of our accommodation in Cambridge. And so this is for slightly older students. These are student houses, right? Pretty big houses, actually, usually 3 floors, living room, kitchen, bedrooms. Some of the bedrooms are en suite, some are not. Some are shared rooms, okay? But they're all pretty nice houses, that's for sure. They've got like backyards and everything like this, okay? These are some of the flats that we have in Cambridge, I believe. So shared kitchens, rooms, everything single. This is our Birmingham, some of our Birmingham accommodation, right? And again, everything, it's all single rooms. Most of them are en suite, but not all of them. And so, yes, we have accommodation. Okay, so I'll finish off with this. This is just to summarize the programs that we offer at MPW. And at the very bottom there, you can see we have, we can accept mature students. And so students up to the age of 25, which is quite unusual. And you know what's interesting is that most of the mature students that we get at MPW tend to be from South Korea for some reason, actually, now that I think about it. And so that's quite interesting. But yeah, we can accept students up to the age of 25. These are our fees, just to give you an idea. We can give scholarships, but honestly, we don't give massive ones, and that's the truth, right? And so, you know, scholarships that we give, it might be 5%, 10%, maybe 15%. We really don't give very big scholarships because the schools get full every year. And so therefore the schools don't see any point in giving big scholarships because we get full every year. I will stop there because I think I might have run over my time a little bit. I've been very aware that we've only got 30 minutes to talk. And so I will stop there and I will stop sharing right now. But thank you, Suno, and thank you, Sue.